The bathroom mirror at the back of the reception hall was cracked. Not enough to be obvious. Just enough to split her face in two if she stood at the wrong angle. Nia Monroe learned to stand straight anyway. She dabbed under her eyes with a folded napkin, careful not to smear the makeup she'd paid too much for. The dress hugged her body the way confidence was supposed to, deep green silk, low back, sleeves that slipped just past her shoulders. It was elegant. Tasteful. Invisible, if you didn't want to see her. She breathed in. Held it. Counted to 5. Then she smiled. The kind of smile that never reaches the eyes but convinces people you're fine if they don't care enough to look closely. Outside the bathroom, laughter spilled through the doors. Crystal glasses clinked. Someone cheered. The band struck a familiar love song, soft and warm and completely wrong for how her chest felt. Nia checked her phone one last time. No new messages. She slid it into her clutch and whispered to her reflection, "One night. That's all." Before we continue, if you've ever loved someone who cost you peace, if you've ever stayed silent because speaking felt dangerous, or if you've ever watched power crush someone it never deserved to touch, like this video so this story reaches someone who needs it. Subscribe if you believe stories should tell the truth, not comfort. And when it ends, tell me in the comments. Who do you think really paid the highest price? Now listen carefully. This story doesn't raise its voice, but it will stay with you. Let's continue. She opened the door. The wedding was flawless. White roses everywhere. Candlelight dancing across gold-trimmed tables. Guests dressed like they belonged on magazine covers, their confidence worn as casually as their watches. Nia didn't belong here. Not really. She was the bride's college friend, the one who'd helped her cram for exams, cried with her after breakups, lent her money that never came back. The one invited out of loyalty, not proximity. Still, she walked like she belonged. Chin high, shoulders back. Silent survival was a skill she'd mastered young. Her eyes drifted, without permission, to the head table. That was where he sat. Logan Cross. Tall. Still. Controlled. He wore his tuxedo like armor, black against his pale skin, hair combed back with surgical precision. He wasn't smiling, not fully. Just enough to be polite. Enough to keep people from asking questions. America's youngest self-made real estate billionaire. Boardroom killer. Philanthropist by press release. And tonight, best man. He leaned in toward the groom, murmured something, then straightened. His gaze lifted. And met hers. The moment didn't explode. It didn't glow. It paused. Logan's eyes held hers longer than necessary. Not rudely. Not hungrily. Carefully. Like someone studying a painting they don't understand, but can't stop looking at. Nia felt it anyway. The tightening. The awareness. That subtle, dangerous shift where a room rearranges itself around a single point. She broke eye contact first. She always did. "Drink," a waiter asked. "Yes," she said too quickly. "Please." She took the champagne flute and moved toward the edge of the reception, where the light dimmed and people didn't ask questions. She watched the bride laugh. Watched the groom wipe his eyes like he wasn't ashamed to cry in public. Love like that looked easy when you weren't the one paying the price for it. Nia took a sip. Then another. Her phone buzzed. Her stomach dropped before she even looked. Unknown number. "You look beautiful." She didn't respond. She didn't need to ask who it was. Another buzz. "I'm here." Her fingers tightened around the glass. She scanned the room, heart pounding, every muscle on edge, and saw him. Marcus stood near the bar, suit a shade too shiny, smile stretched too wide. His eyes found her immediately. They always did. He lifted his glass in a mock toast. Her throat closed. Marcus was a ghost she couldn't outrun. A debt she'd never finished paying. The secret she carried, heavy and corrosive, settled deeper in her chest. She turned away before he could approach. And walked straight into Logan Cross. "I'm sorry," he said automatically, steadying her elbow. His hand was warm. Solid. Too real. She looked up. Closer now, he was quieter than she expected. No flashy confidence. No predatory charm. Just presence. "Wait. It's fine," she said, stepping back. He didn't release her immediately. Then he did. A beat too late. I don't think we've met, he said. Logan. Nia. No last name. He noticed. Of course he did. Are you enjoying the wedding? He asked. She almost laughed. It's beautiful. A safe answer. A shallow one. His gaze flicked to where Marcus stood, then back to her. Something tightened in his jaw. You look like you're somewhere else. She shrugged. Big rooms do that to me. He nodded like he understood. Like he'd ever had to disappear inside himself to survive a room full of powerful people. The band shifted tempo. A slow song. Couples drifted to the floor. Logan hesitated. Would you like to dance? He asked. There it was. The dangerous part. She should have said no. She didn't. He danced better than she expected. Not flashy. Not stiff. Just attentive. His hand rested at her back, firm but respectful. He didn't pull her closer than she allowed. The world narrowed to the quiet space between them. You're friends with my sister, he said. Yes. She speaks highly of you. Nia smiled faintly. She's kind. He studied her face. You don't believe that. She didn't answer. The silence stretched. Comfortable. Heavy. You don't have to pretend, he said softly. That did it. Something in her cracked, not open, not enough to bleed, but enough to hurt. I'm not pretending, she said. I'm just used to not being seen. His grip tightened slightly. I see you, he said. She almost stopped dancing. Almost pulled away. Almost believed him. The song ended. Applause broke the spell. They stepped apart. And then Marcus was there. Nia, he said, voice smooth. There you are. Logan's posture changed. Sharp. Alert. Do you know this man? Logan asked. Marcus smiled wider. Know her? I practically. Nia cut in. We're done here. Marcus leaned closer. You don't get to decide that. Logan stepped between them. You should leave, he said calmly. Marcus laughed. And who are you? Logan didn't raise his voice. Someone with more money than patience. Marcus's smile faded, but his eyes burned with promise. This isn't over, he murmured to Nia before walking away. She stood frozen. Logan turned to her. Are you okay? She nodded. A lie. He didn't push. Instead, he said, if you need to leave, I can get you a car. She shook her head. I just need air. I'll walk you. She didn't stop him. Outside, the night was cool. Quiet. Honest. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Logan said, whatever he's holding over you, it doesn't own you. She laughed softly. You don't know that. I know power, he said. And I know fear. They look the same when they're hiding. She met his gaze. You shouldn't get involved with someone like me. His eyes darkened. Why not? Because, she said carefully, people like you don't fall without dragging someone else down. He didn't deny it. That was the most dangerous part. Nia didn't leave the wedding early. She told herself it was pride. That she wouldn't let Marcus chase her out of another room, another life. But the truth was quieter. She stayed because Logan Cross stood beside her like he meant it. Not possessive. Not performative. Just there. They didn't dance again. They didn't talk much either. Sometimes presence was louder than words. When Marcus passed by, Logan's hand would hover, not touching, never claiming, but ready. That readiness did something to her chest she didn't want to name. When the night finally thinned and guests began to leave, Logan offered her a ride. She hesitated long enough to hate herself for it. Yes, she said. His car smelled like leather and restraint. No cologne. No clutter. No signs of a life lived messily. The city slid past the windows in silence. Streetlights flickered like warnings. You don't have to tell me anything, Logan said suddenly. But, if you want to, I'll listen. Nia watched her reflection blur against the glass. My mother used to say silence was safer, she said. If people don't know you, they can't ruin you. And did it work? No, she whispered. He didn't push further. When the car stopped outside her building, a narrow, tired structure squeezed between newer glass towers, Logan took it in quietly. He didn't comment. Didn't flinch. Thank you, she said. He nodded. I'll make sure you get home safe. I'm already here. He smiled faintly. Old habits. She opened the door, then paused. "Logan," she said. "Tonight didn't happen." His jaw tightened. "If that's what you want." "It is," she said. "It wasn't." She walked inside without looking back. 3 days passed. Then 4. Then a week. Nia returned to her life. Early mornings, late nights, too much caffeine, not enough sleep. She worked at a non-profit arts foundation that survived on passion and crumbs. Her paycheck barely covered rent, but the work mattered. It reminded her she still had something no one could take. Marcus didn't call. That scared her more than if he had. Logan didn't call either. She told herself that was good. Then her phone buzzed during lunch. "Logan Cross. I know you said it didn't happen, but I can't unsee you." Her breath caught. She didn't reply. Another message followed, hours later. "I won't cross your boundary. Just wanted you to know." That night, she dreamed of falling, not fast, but slowly, like gravity deciding to let go. They ran into each other again 2 weeks later. At a gallery opening Nia hadn't wanted to attend, but couldn't afford to skip. Logan stood near a sculpture, hands in his pockets, expression unreadable. He looked surprised to see her. "So did she." "I didn't know you were into local artists," she said. "I'm into honesty," he replied. "This place still has some." They walked the gallery together, careful, measured. Like two people circling a fire. "You never told me what he wanted," Logan said quietly. She stopped. "You don't want that," she said. "I want you safe." She laughed softly. "That's expensive." "I can afford it." "That's not how it works." He studied her. "Then tell me how it does." She hesitated. "Then, he helped me once," she said. "When I needed money. When my mother was sick. I thought it was kindness. It wasn't." Logan didn't interrupt. "I paid him back," she continued. "Every cent. But he didn't want money. He wanted access. Control." Logan's face hardened. "And now?" "Now he reminds me," she said, "that people like me don't get to walk away clean." Logan exhaled slowly. "He's wrong." She looked at him. "You don't get to decide that." "No," he said. "But I get to stand between you and him." She should have walked away. Instead, she leaned in. That was the moment everything tipped. They didn't sleep together that night. They talked. On Logan's balcony overlooking a city that had never cared about either of them. He told her about growing up with nothing. About learning early that power was armor. About losing people when he didn't notice he was cutting them. She told him about silence. About shrinking. About the cost of being soft in a hard world. When dawn crept in, they sat too close. "This ends badly," she said. "Yes," he agreed. They kissed anyway. Marcus resurfaced the next day. This time, he didn't smile. He sent her an email. Photos attached. Old ones. New ones. Her with Logan. Taken from across the street. From a distance. From places she didn't know she'd been watched. "Marcus. You didn't think you were invisible, did you?" Her hands shook. She forwarded the email to Logan without a word. He called immediately. "Where are you?" he asked. "At work." "Don't leave." "I can't." "I'm coming." When he arrived, he didn't yell. Didn't panic. He looked afraid. "He wants money," Logan said after reading the email. "Or leverage." "He wants me," Nia said. Logan's jaw tightened. "Then we end this," he said. "I'll make him disappear." "No," she said sharply. "You won't. You don't understand how men like him work." "I do," she said. "They thrive on fear. If you crush him, he'll make sure I pay for it." Logan stared at her. "This isn't your burden alone. It's always been mine." Silence stretched between them. Then Logan said something dangerous. "Marry me." She laughed. A short, broken sound. "You think a ring scares him?" "No," Logan said. "But it gives you protection. Visibility. Power." She stepped back. "So I become your shield?" "No," he said. "You become untouchable." She looked at him, really looked. And saw the fear behind the offer. "You don't want me," she said softly. "You want to fix this." He didn't deny it. That hurt more than Marcus ever could. That night, Nia packed a bag. She didn't tell Logan where she was going. She left a note instead. "Some battles aren't won with money. Please don't follow me." Marcus watched her leave. She felt it. And she knew. The break was coming. Nia didn't go far. She couldn't afford to. The bus station motel smelled like bleach and old cigarettes, the kind of place where no one asked questions because everyone was hiding from something. She paid cash, chose a room near the stairwell, slept with her phone under her pillow and her shoes on. She didn't cry. Crying felt like a luxury for people who believed someone would come when they broke. She checked her phone at dawn. 10 missed calls. Logan. 3 unread messages. She didn't open them. She already knew what they said. Logan didn't sleep. He sat in his penthouse office while the city pulsed below him, untouched by the panic spreading through his chest. He had buried companies, ruined men with cleaner hands than Marcus. He had always known where to apply pressure. This time, pressure pushed back. He replayed her face when he'd said, "Marry me." The way her mouth had curved, not in amusement, but disappointment. "You don't want me. You want to fix this." She had been right. That scared him more than Marcus ever could. By morning, Logan had made a decision. Not to save her. To listen. Marcus made the next move. He didn't call. Didn't text. He sent flowers to Nia's workplace. White lilies. Expensive. Funeral flowers. The card read, "You always run when it gets real." Her coworkers stared. Whispered. One of them asked if everything was okay. Nia smiled. Said yes. Took the flowers home. She smashed the vase against the sink until her hands bled. Logan found Marcus through channels that weren't on paper. A quiet lunch. A private room. No threats. Just truth. "She's not your property," Logan said calmly. Marcus smirked. "Funny. She never told you what she signed." Logan's gaze sharpened. "What contract?" Marcus slid a document across the table. Not legal. Not binding. Personal. A confession email Nia had written years ago. Desperate. Unfiltered. Begging for help. Marcus leaned back. "You think the world loves a black woman who admits weakness? Or a billionaire who protects one?" Logan stood slowly. "You will never contact her again." Marcus laughed. "Or what?" Logan's voice dropped. "Or I'll let the truth out. About how you make your money. Who you use." Marcus's smile flickered. Then hardened. "She'll break before I do," he said. Logan left without replying. Nia returned to her apartment 2 days later. The door was unlocked. Nothing was stolen. Everything was disturbed. Her notebooks shuffled. Her photos moved. Her bed sheets wrinkled like someone had sat there and waited. On her mirror, written in lipstick, "You still owe me." She slid down the wall and pressed her fist to her mouth to keep quiet. Silence. Always silence. Her phone buzzed. Logan. This time, she answered. "I'm here," he said. "I won't come up unless you ask." Her voice trembled. "I didn't ask you to fight him." "I'm not," he said. "I'm fighting myself." That broke her. "Come upstairs," she whispered. He didn't touch her at first. He sat on the floor across from her, back against the couch like they were equals in a room that had never allowed that illusion before. "I read it," he said. She froze. "The email," he clarified. "He showed me." Shame burned through her. She waited for judgment. It didn't come. "You were asking for help," Logan said. "That doesn't make you weak." She laughed bitterly. "It does when someone uses it to own you." He nodded. Then said, "Let me be dangerous for you." "Not to you." She looked at him for a long time, then leaned forward and rested her forehead against his. That was when she cried. Not loudly. Not beautifully. Quiet, broken sobs that soaked into his shirt. He held her like something fragile and rare. They crossed the line that night. Slowly. Carefully. Like people who understood the cost. Logan learned her body the way he learned risk, attentive, patient, reverent. Nia let herself want without apology for the first time in years. Afterward, she lay awake while he slept. And thought, this will ruin us. The fallout didn't wait. The next morning, Logan's board called an emergency meeting. An anonymous tip had surfaced. Accusations. Photos. Stories twisted just enough to stick. Billionaire exploiting vulnerable women. Marcus had widened the battlefield. Logan didn't deny the relationship. That was his first mistake. Nia watched the news alone. Her phone filled with messages she didn't answer. By evening, Logan stood in her doorway again. "I won't let them use you," he said. She looked at him, exhausted. "They already have." Outside, sirens wailed. Inside, something cracked beyond repair. And Nia understood. Love wasn't the danger. Visibility was. The city turned on Logan in a single news cycle. It wasn't loud at first. Just a shift. A tightening. Meetings postponed. Calls returned by assistants instead of voices. Invitations that quietly disappeared. Power never announces when it's leaving. It just stops answering. Logan watched it happen with a strange calm. What unsettled him wasn't the loss of money or influence. He'd rebuilt worse. What unsettled him was how efficiently the narrative rearranged itself around Nia. Her name wasn't public. Not yet. But the implication hovered. Someone like her. Someone dependent. Someone grateful. He saw it in the way commentators spoke. In what they didn't say. He'd spent his life controlling rooms. Now he couldn't protect one woman in a small apartment with a cracked mirror. Nia stopped answering the door. She kept the lights off even during the day. Ate crackers. Slept in pieces. Every sound felt like a warning. She quit her job without explanation. Her boss hugged her too long. Said, "Take care of yourself," like a goodbye she'd already accepted. Marcus sent one final message. "I tried to be patient." She didn't reply. She packed instead. Just essentials. Clothes that didn't draw attention. Her mother's old watch. The notebook she'd never let anyone read. She planned to disappear. Again. Logan found out through absence. Her phone went straight to voicemail. Her apartment was dark. Too quiet. He stood in her living room, surrounded by signs of leaving. The note was short. "I won't be your collateral damage." He folded it carefully. Then he did something he hadn't done in years. He lost control. Marcus wasn't hiding anymore. He hosted a private party in a glass-walled mansion, full of people who pretended not to know what he was. Logan walked in uninvited. The music stopped. Marcus smiled like he'd been waiting. "You should thank me," Marcus said. "I freed her from you." Logan didn't speak. He hit him. Once. Hard enough to knock Marcus back into a table. Glass shattered. People shouted. Security moved in. Logan didn't resist. As they dragged him out, Marcus wiped blood from his mouth and laughed. "See," he called after him. "You break things." The arrest didn't stick. It didn't need to. The footage leaked anyway. Violence looks different when a powerful man loses composure. By morning, Logan's board voted him out. Temporary, they said. He knew better. Nia watched the clip in a bus station hundreds of miles away. Logan's face, raw, unguarded, furious, played on repeat. She felt it in her chest like a bruise she hadn't pressed yet. This was her fault. Not because she existed, but because she stayed. She stood, hands shaking, and bought a ticket back. Marcus was waiting. He always was. He found her outside her building before she reached the door. "You don't learn," he said softly. She didn't scream. She didn't fight. She looked at him with something new in her eyes. "Pity. You already lost," she said. Marcus smiled. "You think because he hit me? Because the rich boy fell in love?" "No," she said. "Because you need me to be afraid." He stepped closer. "And you're not." She swallowed. "I'm tired." That angered him. He grabbed her arm. That was his mistake. Logan arrived to the sound of sirens. Again. This time, Nia was sitting on the curb, blood on her lip, eyes distant but sharp. Marcus was face down on the pavement, wrist bent wrong, screaming. Logan didn't ask what happened. Nia didn't explain. The police separated them. Questions flew. She answered carefully. Truthfully. Marcus was arrested. Charges stuck. For once. In the aftermath, silence returned. But it wasn't safe silence. It was empty. Logan visited Nia once more before he left the city. "I can't fix this," he said. She nodded. "I know. I don't regret you," he added. She met his gaze. "I do. Just a little." That hurt. It was supposed to. They didn't touch. He left. She watched him go. And understood something at last. The break wasn't losing him. The break was surviving him. Marcus didn't stay quiet in jail. Men like him never did. He made calls. Favors. Promises. The kind that slithered through cracks in systems built by men who looked like him. Charges shifted. Evidence needed review. The assault on Nia was downgraded to a misunderstanding. A domestic dispute between acquaintances. The word acquaintance burned. Nia followed the updates through second-hand sources. She avoided news, avoided mirrors, avoided anything that made her remember how his hand had felt on her arm. She moved again. This time, not to run but to hide. A small town. Cheap rent. A job shelving books at a community library where no one asked about her past because everyone had one. She cut her hair short. Changed her number. Let the world forget her face. At night, she wrote. Not poetry. Not prayers. Names. Dates. Patterns. She began to understand something Marcus never expected. Silence could be collected. Logan rebuilt quietly. He left New York. Sold properties. Liquidated anything that still carried his name too loudly. He didn't fight the board. Didn't beg the press. He disappeared with intent. For the first time in his life, he learned what it meant to be untouchable and how fast that could reverse. People stopped returning his calls. He let them. He spent his nights reading old emails. Contracts. Complaints he'd once ignored because they didn't threaten the bottom line. He found them. Women. Employees. Partners Marcus had passed through his orbit like wreckage. Patterns. The same ones Nia was writing down, hundreds of miles away. Logan didn't contact her. That restraint cost him more than exile. Marcus was released on bail. He threw a party. Not to celebrate, but to remind people he could. Photos surfaced online. Champagne. Laughter. Influence restored. Nia saw one image in passing and felt something settle into place. Cold. Steady. This was never going to end unless she ended it. She reached out to Logan first. One email. No subject line. I'm done running. He replied within minutes. Tell me what you need. She stared at the screen for a long time. Then typed. I need you to listen. Not lead. He agreed. That was the beginning of revenge. Not loud. Not violent. Not fast. Just inevitable. They worked separately at first. Nia gathered stories. Quiet conversations in corners of the internet. Late-night calls with women who spoke in half-sentences, testing if she was safe. Logan funded journalists anonymously. Lawyers with reputations for patience, not spectacle. He learned when to step back. When to let Nia speak first. This was her war now. He was support. That reversal changed them both. The first article landed without warning. No names in the headline. Just facts. Patterns of coercion. Financial pressure. Silence bought and enforced. Marcus responded with mockery. Then the second article hit. Then the third. A former partner spoke publicly. Then another. Nia watched from her small kitchen, hands wrapped around a mug she didn't drink from. She didn't feel triumphant. She felt tired. Marcus called her. From a number she didn't recognize. You think this ends with me? He asked. She closed her eyes. No, she said. I think it starts. He laughed. You still need me. You know too much now. So do you, she replied. She hung up. Her hands didn't shake this time. Logan watched the fallout from a distance. His name surfaced occasionally. Always secondary. Always implied. He let it. Power, he'd learned, didn't need to be seen to be felt. One night, he drove to Nia's town. Didn't knock. He waited outside the library at closing time. She saw him through the glass. They stood facing each other under flickering streetlights. You look different, he said. So do you. They didn't hug. Some things were too heavy for that. It's almost over, she said. He nodded. I know. And after? He hesitated. After, he said carefully, we live with what we've done. She studied his face. That's the only ending I trust. Marcus was indicted 3 weeks later. Not just for assault. For fraud. Coercion. Financial crimes spanning years. He was led out of a courthouse in cuffs this time. No smile. No cameras invited. Nia watched the footage once, then turned it off. Revenge wasn't loud. It was quiet. And final. Marcus didn't go quietly. Men like him never did. The indictment cracked his image, but it didn't erase his instinct. Even in handcuffs, he searched rooms for leverage. Even in court, his eyes scanned faces for fear. He found none in Nia. She sat behind the prosecution, dressed plainly, hair pulled back, hands folded. She didn't flinch when he turned. Didn't look away. That unsettled him more than anger ever could. She wasn't begging anymore. She was done. The trial stretched on for months. Not dramatic. Not theatrical. Just slow exposure. Emails. Bank transfers. Testimonies layered until the pattern could no longer be denied. Nia testified once. Only once. She spoke without embellishment. No trembling speeches. No tears offered for sympathy. I asked for help, she said. He charged me for it. That sentence landed harder than anything else. Marcus didn't look at her again. Logan never entered the courtroom. His name appeared in documents, in footnotes, in context, but never as savior. Never as hero. He made sure of that. He funded the work. Shielded the process. Then stepped back. Power didn't redeem him. Restraint did. Marcus was convicted. Not in a way that inspired cheers. In a way that emptied rooms. 22 years. No spectacle. No final speech. Just a man led away knowing no one was coming back for him. Nia didn't stay to watch. She walked outside alone. The sky was overcast. Ordinary. She stood there longer than necessary, waiting for something to happen inside her. Nothing did. Revenge didn't heal. It ended. Logan called her that night. "Are you okay?" he asked. She considered the question. "I'm quiet," she said. "I think that's the closest I'll get." "That's enough," he replied. They didn't talk long. They rarely did anymore. Months passed. Life resumed in pieces. Nia stayed in the small town. Took on more hours at the library. Started teaching a writing workshop on weekends. People listened when she spoke, not because she demanded it, but because her silence carried weight. She stopped looking over her shoulder. That alone felt radical. Logan rebuilt too, but smaller. No headlines. No empires. He consulted quietly. Donated anonymously. Learned how to sit in rooms without commanding them. The loss had reshaped him. So had her. They met again a year later. No warning. No plan. Just a mutual conference they hadn't realized the other would attend. They stood across the room when they noticed each other. Neither smiled. Then Logan walked over. "You look," he searched for the word. "Unowned," she said. He nodded. Yes. They sat together during a panel. Not touching. Not avoiding. Afterward, they walked outside. The air was cool. Clean. "I loved you," Logan said. Not as a plea. Just a fact. She didn't answer right away. "I loved who I was with you," she said finally. "That scared me." "I know." They stood in silence. "Some loves aren't meant to survive," she continued. "They're meant to change us." Logan swallowed. "And did it?" "Yes," she said. "It cost us." He looked at her then, really looked. "And was it worth it?" She thought of the cracked mirror. The bus station. The notebook full of names. She nodded once. Yes. They didn't kiss. They didn't promise anything. They hugged briefly. Carefully. Then they walked in opposite directions. That night, Nia stood in her apartment, looking at her reflection in an unbroken mirror. She didn't smile. She didn't need to. Some wounds don't close. They become borders. And she had finally learned how to live inside them. If this story hurt quietly, then it did what it was meant to do. Like this video if you felt the weight of every choice made in silence. Subscribe if you want stories that don't offer easy healing or clean endings. Share this with someone who understands that love can change you, even when it doesn't stay. And in the comments, don't explain everything. Just answer this. Would you choose love again, knowing the cost? I'll be reading. Until next time, this is Soul Storyverse TV.